Hello all, and welcome back to the Easy Nerd. I'm the Easy Nerd, and today, with me getting increasingly worried about the DCEU after an average Superman movie and a disappointing season of Peacemaker, I'm pitching my case for why the Snyderverse, aka the DCEU, should be restored. Now remember guys, this is just my opinion, and I'd love to hear yours in the comments. Firstly, I just want to disclose, Zack Snyder is my favorite DC director. That makes me incredibly biased, so let me explain why, as both a comics fan and a movie fan. His movies, to me, feel like big epic events, which is exactly what superhero movies should feel like. If I switch on Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, or his Justice League, it's an epic story of superheroes who truly feel larger than life, thanks to perfect casting and amazing costume design. He always opens and closes his movies in epic fashion. By the end, I always feel fulfilled, satisfied, and wanting more. I love his directing. Every shot feels like it's been carefully storyboarded to show the maximum impact of a scene. He makes the world with superheroes in it feel as realistic as possible. He keeps a serious tone with small moments of levity and balances that perfectly. Now, why I love his comic book adaptations, he adapts comics that I personally love. Man of Steel is an adaptation of Superman Earth 1, one of my favorites. Batman v Superman adapts The Dark Knight Returns, my first proper DC graphic novel and one that's very close to my heart, as well as The Death of Superman. And my favorite, Zack Snyder's Justice League, adapts the New 52 Justice League comic run that came out when I started reading comics. That run was peak DC for me. He also drew a lot of influence from the Arkham and Injustice games, which I absolutely adore, especially for Batman's combat style and the concept of an evil Superman. Snyder respects the characters. He never undercuts them with humor or cheap jokes. Watch his 4-hour Justice League, and every hero has development and payoff. All 6 of them are badass in their own ways. Superman, strong, godlike, and true to his comic counterpart. Batman, Dark Knight Returns vibes, edgy, brutal, but with an amazing redemption arc as he reforms the Justice League after Superman's death. Wonder Woman, a modern Amazon warrior. Love that take. Aquaman, a loner drifter struggling with his half-human, half-Atlantean heritage. The Flash, socially awkward, seeking justice for his wrongfully imprisoned father. Another loner trying to find his place. Cyborg, brought back to life by a mother box. A brilliant character learning to reconnect with his humanity after feeling broken and alone. Come to think of it, a lot of DC heroes have really bad daddy issues. Zack's handling of villains is also great. Zod is a perfect example. Deep, but genocidal. You understand his motives. He was bred to serve Krypton. Then when he becomes Doomsday, he's an unstoppable force who literally kills Superman, just like the comics. Lex Luthor, another great example. Very true to the comics, but Snyder gives him a modern spin, more like a young billionaire tech bro, while keeping his evil genius and sociopathic tendencies. He technically succeeded in his mission to get Superman killed, and if the universe had continued, he could have formed the Legion of Doom, or Injustice League, which would have been awesome. Snyder even tried to redeem Jared Leto's Joker, making him more serious. And of course, he nailed one of DC's biggest bads, Darkseid, and his minions. Perfectly adapted. I really wish we could have seen more of them. Now, why do I think the Snyderverse should be restored? A few reasons. One, there's already an established fan base, whether casual or hardcore Snyder fans. Two, there are already beloved actors for most of the A-list heroes. Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and so on. No need to recast and cause controversy. The only major Justice League character left to cast is Green Lantern, though Wayne T. Carr already filmed an unseen cameo as Jon Stewart. Honestly, I'd even give Ryan Reynolds another shot as Hal Jordan. We already have great villains, too. Lex Luthor, Joker, and Darkseid are all established. Even the Justice League itself was already built up successfully in Zack Snyder's Justice League, which fans and general audiences loved. So a lot of the groundwork is done. Another reason? Snyder's movies felt like an alternative to the MCU formula. Marvel has a great formula. Fun, family-friendly blockbusters with lots of jokes, after-credit scenes, and team-ups. But they're generally lighthearted. The DCEU, on the other hand, especially Snyder's films, had its own formula. More serious storytelling, fewer after-credit teases, and smoother transitions between movies. Like how Man of Steel and BVS connect naturally, the climax of one shown from another perspective in the next. I loved that. That made the DCEU feel unique, not just a copy of the MCU, something the later DC films, and even the recent Superman reboot, I'd argue, lost. I also think, because of Warner Brothers' incompetence, a huge shared universe like the MCU just doesn't work for DC right now. Audiences won't get invested because of the inconsistent track record. A smaller, focused universe, like Matt Reeves' The Batman world, would work better. One epic movie every couple of years, with maybe a series or smaller spin-off in between. Quality over quantity. That also lets creatives like Matt Reeves and James Gunn tell their own stories outside the Snyderverse. Look at the first Joker movie. Over $1 billion. Totally standalone. Perfect example.
So, how could a restoration actually happen if Netflix, Paramount, or another studio buys Warner Brothers? Here's my idea. As much as it pains me, give superhero movies about a 2-year break. Let The Batman Part 2 be the last one for a bit, while Part 3 develops. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Then, when the new studio launches a mega streaming platform, release alternate versions of DC films as teasers for what's to come. 3 examples. Zack Snyder's Justice League, alternate cut, include unseen scenes and the original ending where Jon Stewart's Green Lantern, Wayne T. Carr, visits Bruce Wayne. Maybe even film a few new scenes, like Snyder did with the Nightmare sequence. David Ayer's Suicide Squad, the darker original version that's supposedly way better. I really want to see that. The Flash, a more serious cut. Trim the goofy stuff, make it more grounded, and restore the ending with Henry Cavill's Superman, Sasha Calle's Supergirl, and Ben Affleck's Batman stuck in the multiverse. Another awesome tease for what's to come. Why do I think this could happen? Zack Snyder has a good relationship with Netflix, and he's making a UFC movie for Paramount, which owns the rights. Paramount also seems the most likely buyer of Warner Brothers, and they tend to align with a more mainstream conservative audience. Think Yellowstone and Tulsa King. The Snyderverse already fits that tone more naturally. Whereas, after Peacemaker Season 2, I feel like James Gunn might have alienated some of that audience with his social commentary. Not trying to inject politics here, just reading between the lines. A lot of this is wishful thinking, I admit. My final reason the Snyderverse should be restored? There's so much story left to tell. Superman, reborn, becoming a more hopeful version of himself. Batman, leading the League and confronting his past. Cyborg and Flash, growing into their powers. Wonder Woman, inevitably becoming Queen of the Amazons. Aquaman, ruling Atlantis as king. We've already introduced awesome versions of Shazam, Black Adam, Martian Manhunter, and the Suicide Squad, all ripe for more exploration. And if the plan really was Justice League versus the Legion of Doom leading into Darkseid, that's an incredible natural climax. You could tell it over 2 or 3 films, with solo movies like A Man of Steel 2, Or even the planned solo Batfleck movie.
There's serious potential here, and as a fan of DC and the old DCEU, I'd love to see it happen. Thanks for tuning in. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I'll see you next time. This is the Easy Nerd, signing off.